I was just sitting and it came to me, the issue of Dorje Shugden. And I was thinking it's such a shame that within the collective of Tibetan Buddhism, this schism, this split, this misunderstanding should have arisen. And I know beautiful people who look up to Dorje Shugden, and I know very beautiful people who are with the Dalai Lama and those traditions. And I was thinking, well look, let's get the basics really clear. That fundamentally, actually, Dorje Shugden has no inherent self. So there isn't actually something there. Otherwise we would all see it the same, wouldn't we? If it actually existed, if he actually existed, we would all see him the same way, and there wouldn't be a conversation about is he this or is he that. So how is it that the followers of Dorje Shugden, who I know as beautiful, shining, radiant, committed, focused, liberating beings, I know them, how is it they get Dorje Shugden this way? And how is it that other people think of him as a dark force or however they get him? And it's entirely given by who your being, that Dorje Shugden is, gives you how you get him. There is no fixed way that he is. How could there be? So if we look at, first of all, the group of those people who follow Dorje Shugden, right? If you've got two of those blessed monks together and you said, tell me, you know, how do you experience Dorje Shugden? And one might say, well, you know, I have the sense that he's always right in front of me. Whenever I put my mind in that way, I feel that he's right in front of me, always right in front of me. And another might say, you know what, when I sit, I feel that he's up and behind, showering down some kind of blessing and force of grace. Or another might say, when I'm making the offerings, I can really feel him receiving it. But if you asked all of those people, then nobody would have the same, would get Dorje Shugden in the same way. That means something to me. So who their being that he is gives them how they get him. And that can be a very beautiful thing. On the other hand, if you're somebody like the Dalai Lama, and what you're saying is, who your being that Dorje Shugden is, well, once I followed him, but now who I'm being that he is, that he's dangerous, dark, and a worldly spirit, how will Dorje Shugden turn up for you then? Given that actually there isn't such a thing as Dorje Shugden, for real. He'll turn up to you with those qualities. But does he actually possess them? No. Why? Because there's nothing there to possess them. And this is very important. The fact that two groups of Buddhism are talking about the nature of Dorje Shugden and getting a different response proves that no such thing exists. And it's laughable to me that they should be arguing over the nature of something that doesn't have an inherent quality or existence. Who your being that something is gives you how you get it. Now the thing is this, if you persist in your view, then say who your being that it is, and you persist in that view, then the external environment starts to support that view, and determined on how much energy you put in, then that's how it starts to turn up, until you've got proof that Dorje Shugden's a dark worldly spirit. Yet at the same time, on the same planet, other Buddhists who are being that he is a beautiful, beneficent protector, guide, they're getting him experiences that are unquestionable to them, that he is the opposite. So who is the deluded one? The deluded one is not the one who's experiencing Dorje Shugden as a beneficent being, or the one who's seeing it as a demonic dark spirit, worldly spirit. It's the one who thinks that there is such a thing as it actually existing with an inherent self, as Dorje Shugden. It's luminous being, empty like everything else. Have we seen this or not? And if we have seen this, which is the very basis, why can't we then apply it? Because if one doesn't apply that, then there are consequences. And these consequences can create a chasm and a split and generate hatred. Because one thing is for sure, I know these people, I've met many of them. In Brighton, there's a beautiful centre there, Dorje Shugden Centre there, which is filled with Buddhas. Close your eyes, there's Buddhas everywhere, right? But if you have developed bodhicitta, if you have developed and gathered the fruit of presence, and you start to hate, you immediately qualify that energy, that abundance, that wealth negatively, and it's much worse than if you just hated without having generated that energy. And there's no question that both sides do generate that energy. And it's the same with the Dalai Lama and the people that follow him and the people who are fighting the Dorje Shugden people. That if you've developed bodhicitta and then you start hating and making others wrong, then you will lose that bodhicitta, you will create misfortune, and general nastiness will break out, and the aims of the Buddha will be lost. Who gets benefit by this? Of course the Chinese, they love it. They just love the fact that this powerful force of Tibetan Buddhism has got a big crack in it. So my feeling is this. It's like, if you're a follower, I have a friend who's a hermit, who's a follower of Dorje Shugden. And he never speaks about these things. He lives in the forest. And with his tantric partner, and he lives in the forest, and he just practices his path quietly, and has the great gift of heaven, does not enter into the dualistic conflict. So that's what I suggest. I suggest that, people just realize that that neither side is going to give up, so put it down. If who you're being that Dorje Shugden is that he's a beautiful Buddha who's guiding you home, good luck. Stay with that. Be quiet. And if you think that he's not, good luck. Stay with that. Be quiet. But really, what is reality? Really, what is reality and what is emptiness? There's nothing more important than getting that clear. Because Buddhists fighting, speaking badly about each other, bringing up bad past stories, defaming each other, undermining each other. Is this the way?